slice of an apple or an orange and marvel at the beauty of it. He'd bring my attention to its seeds, skin, each fiber, the way its juice is all packed in. He would invite me to think about how, when put in some dirt, the seed could become a plant, and over time it would become a magnificent tree. The tree would give so many more fruits, shade, and homes to more life. Slowly, it could even create an entire forest. He would wonder in joyous excitement. What is it that puts this life force into this little seed? Dadaji shared his bright spark of curiosity and the ability to find joy in the spectacular everyday with all of us. It is one of my most treasured gifts from him. The last few pandemic years were incredibly hard on him, and yet he managed to stay disciplined and keep his routine through it all. Dadaji was a staunch believer of self-care, long before it became a buzzword. He took care of his body and mind through regular exercise, long walks, evening meditation, and good food. He knew that a person who took care of themselves, could then serve others. Just like the little seed that could become an anchor for so much life, so my grandfather was an anchor for every little corner of the world that he inhabited. He taught us by example how to care deeply and be there for other people. His light eyes, charming smile, inspired trust and felt like a warm embrace to everybody, even if you didn't know you needed it. He was curious about the ways of the world, and his inquisitiveness, kindness, sense of humor drove his interactions with everyone. He would treat a young child, a teenager, adult, or older person with equal attention and genuine interest. He made every person who met him feel wanted and worthy. I took a little help from my cousins. Pranav Bhaiya remembers how the front door of Dadima and Dadaji's house used to be like a revolving door. Everyone was welcome. Brothers, sisters, neighbors, cousins, relatives, gardener, people who worked with him, anybody associated to him, even strangers who knew they had the chance of finding help would find themselves at that door. Tanushree, Pranav Bhaiya's wife, said how Dadaji made everybody associated with him feel a sense of belonging. And in this way, he built his community. Parul Didi said how blessed and loved we all have been to have had him growing up. I wish I had asked him more about his time as an engineer in the newly formed nation. Bani Bhaiya said an interesting thing about it. He said, how come Nana never talked about all his work achievements? He worked on so many key projects, like refugee homes in Karnal, the Bhakra Dam. He saw so much, built so much. He saw the Second World War, the partition, traveled to different countries, worked there too. Yet he never bragged or even reminisced. He never measured himself against his achievements. When talking to him, he only focused on you, hardly ever himself. Even though he has had so much experience of the world, he preferred to listen. He held your hand and was completely present to you. He hardly ever judged or imposed his views. Alina, Bani Bhaiya's wife, fondly remembers talking to him about her parents and grandparents, and with so much interest that he listened to her. Or maybe it is also, as Tina Didi believes, that he had great memories of his past, but he truly enjoyed every single moment in the present. And that was his secret to life. Whether it was about dressing well, carrying his favorite soti, or making the perfect dhokla or baked potatoes with his grandchildren, he knew how to live well in the present moment. As Kanika remembers, he was the most dandy and sharp, had the best style in Chandigarh, and loved his good and laughed freely and fully. On this rainy day, when we are still reeling from this pandemic, work has become all-consuming and we judge ourselves and others all the time. I, all my brothers and sisters, and all of us present here are so proud and lucky to have grown up around a man who believed in listening, taking care of himself, focusing on others, who was genuinely kind and brought integrity to everything he touched. Thank you all for coming. Our hearts fill with warmth and happiness every time we remember him. We hope to follow in his footsteps and further the forest of values that he lived.